By the time the fisherman finds me, the world will already have moved on. 33 hours will have passed since my lungs last held air, since the night swallowed me whole. A night no one will ever truly understand. The news will pick up the story quickly. Teen vanishes during school camping trip. They'll mention the lake, the party, and the friends who thought I was just somewhere else for a while. 18 hours later, when Zoe finally tells my biology teacher that I never came back to the tent, the search begins. But no one will know what really happened. It all started with Zoe and me slipping out of camp under the watchful gaze of the crescent moon. The forest was alive with sound, the crackle of twigs, the whisper of wind through pine needles, and the faint hum of a party drawing us forward. We clung to each other's hands, our hearts racing not from fear, but from the thrill of rebellion. The party was all shadows and music. Billie Eilish crooning softly from a phone speaker. Someone handed me a beer, its cold touch foreign against my palm. The lake stretched out before us, its surface so dark and glassy it seemed to swallow the light. I couldn't tell where the water ended and the trees began. Later, the stories would contradict each other. Zoe said she left early, while I stayed behind with her twin brother, Tom. Tom, the boy with the quiet eyes who had loved me from a distance for years. People said they saw us walk off together, disappearing into the woods. When the fisherman finds me miles from that lake, the questions will only multiply. The autopsy will reveal I drowned, but not before I suffered a blow to the head. Was it an accident, a fight, or something darker? The police will start to dig. Cassandra, the girl who always lurked at the edges of the crowd, will come forward. She'll claim she heard Zoe and me arguing that night, maybe over Tom. She'll even suggest that Zoe pushed me. Zoe will deny it, of course, her voice trembling as she insists we were arguing about something else entirely, something she won't reveal. The investigation will turn its gaze toward Tom, who insists he barely spoke to me that night. Yet there's evidence to suggest otherwise, faint traces of his skin on my clothes, whispers of a brief, passionate encounter. Was it love, guilt, or something he'd rather the police didn't know? And then there's our biology teacher. His behavior after my disappearance will raise alarms. He'll make strange comments, draw unwanted attention. When Cassandra claims she saw him near the boathouse that night, suspicion will hang over him like a storm cloud. But his story will unravel in a way that clears him, at least of any involvement in my death. 16 days after I die, the investigation will falter. Theories will swirl. A tragic accident, an argument gone wrong, or an impulsive decision I made alone. People will whisper about the pressures I faced, the weight of expectations from my family, my teachers, my peers. They'll wonder if it was all too much, but they'll never know the truth. One day, someone might tell my story in a podcast or turn it into a television series. They'll dissect every rumor, every clue, spinning theories that lead nowhere. But the truth, the real truth, will remain hidden, buried in the dark water where I met my end. Because I'm not just a missing girl or a tragic headline. I'm the question no one can answer, the story that refuses to settle, and the lake will never give me back.